What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success, and what I want to talk about in this video is going long amounts of time without making sales for your clothing brand. I want to talk to you about what this means and ultimately how to diagnose the problem so that you can get the ball rolling and start generating orders for your clothing brand on a consistent basis. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Brandcrowd, and if you need designs made for your clothing brand, then I seriously recommend you check them out. They have a huge library of already professionally designed logos that you can customize. You can add your own fonts, your own layouts to it. All of this is free to try. Then if you decide that you like the logo you've made, you can decide to purchase it, remove it from the marketplace so that it's yours. If you're interested, follow the link in the description because it'll give you a huge discount. All right, so I know that there are a lot of you who have been running your clothing brand for a while and you've really been struggling to get the ball rolling and to generate orders on a consistent basis. And you're probably scratching your head wondering, what the hell is wrong with my clothing brand and why exactly is my clothing brand not able to make sales like some of these other clothing brands are? And obviously, since I can't look at your clothing brand right now, I can't tell you exactly what your specific issue is, but through working with clothing brands, doing the clothing brand reviews for Apparel Success, and just working with clothing brands in this community here, I have narrowed it down to a few common things that are problems that most clothing brands are going through and the issues with most clothing brands that are likely the same for your clothing brand right now if you're struggling to get orders coming in. And I want to share with you what those things are. And throughout this video, I want you to think, do these things apply to my own clothing brand? And is this what the issue is for my clothing brand? Because a simple tweak here can completely change the course of your clothing brand and get you moving in the right direction towards making sales. What most clothing brand owners think is the issue with their clothing brand is actually not the issue with their clothing brand. And what most clothing brand owners think the issue with their clothing brand is they think that they're not doing a good enough job exposing their clothing brand to the world. They think that not enough people have seen it yet and they need to get it in front of more people. When in reality, the real issue with most clothing brands has to do with the foundation of their brand. And the foundation can be split up into four main components, okay? The foundation consists of your brand concept, what's your brand all about, your website quality. What does your website look like when people show up? Are they being deterred because stuff's all over the place and it's not looking professional? Your product quality is when people show up to your website and they try to shop, are they seeing products that they actually like, that they want to buy, or are the products not good enough for your particular audience? And your social media presentation. Are you doing a good enough job presenting yourself on social media to actually create a good perception of your brand that people actually want to buy? Now, if you've been at this for a while with your clothing brand and you've been struggling to make sales for a long time, then I can almost guarantee that the issue with your clothing brand is one or more of the four components that I just mentioned of the foundation of your clothing brand. So what I suggest that you do is an honest assessment of your clothing brand. You look at those four areas and you think to yourself, how can I improve these areas for my clothing brand? How can I tweak these areas in the right direction so that I can actually start building a proper foundation for my brand so that when I do go to expose my clothing brand to the world and to my market, people are actually responding to it positively and they really want to buy what it is that I have to offer. Another way to test this, to test that there's an issue with your foundation and it's not the marketing that you're doing or the price of your products, is to put your clothing on sale. Put your clothing on sale for like 40 or 50% off and see if it sells. If your clothing still doesn't sell at 40 or 50% off, then clearly it's an issue with the foundation of your clothing brand and nobody just wanting to buy your clothing, right? If you're putting your clothing at 50% off and nobody's buying it, then clearly there's just no demand for what it is that you're trying to sell. You need to go back to the drawing board and work on the foundation of your clothing brand. If your clothing brand is struggling and it's because of the foundation of your brand, I am not at all judging you or your clothing brand, and there's still a huge potential for you to become successful. And the reason why I know this is because I went through this with my own clothing brand for the first year when I first started. When I first started, our foundation of our clothing brand was completely out of whack. We had a sloppy website. We didn't really know exactly what our brand concept was. We were constantly tweaking our tagline. We didn't really have the highest quality products, and our social media presentation was pretty out of whack. Okay, so like literally all four categories there were pretty screwed up, and it took a lot of adjustment, a lot of improvement to get to the point where we're making a lot of sales. So this video here isn't meant to be depressing for you. It's not meant to shame you and say, you know, your clothing brand is crap and you're never going to be successful. It's actually the complete opposite. It's telling you to take an honest look at your brand, be humble, and recognize that it's going to take a lot of failure in order for you to become successful. And being honest with your brand right now and fixing these things is what's going to allow you to become successful in the future and start generating consistent orders for your clothing brand. And I genuinely believe that you are able to tweak your clothing brand and change your clothing brand into a direction where you are now successful, even if the past year, 2 years, 3 years running your clothing brand has been a struggle. There are plenty of success stories with clothing brands that were running for the first 10 years, barely doing anything, really kind of struggling. And then after 10 years, they finally blew up and became million-dollar brands. And there's no reason to think that if somebody else can do that, that you can't do that as well. So I'm not at all judging you, and I just really wanted to make this video for you to put those things in focus for you, to spotlight those 4 main components of your foundation that you need to be working on. I'm just gonna repeat them here at the end of this video so that you can remember them, which is your brand concept. Take a deeper look at your brand concept. Make sure that your brand concept actually makes sense and is resonating with your target audience. Make sure that your website looks as good as you can possibly make it. If you're not a website designer yourself, then hire somebody to do it for you. Your product quality needs to reach a certain standard. If people don't like the products that you're selling, then you're really gonna struggle to grow a successful clothing brand and start generating orders. And work on your social media presentation. How are you coming across on social media? Do your absolute best. And you'll notice that if you tweak all 4 of those areas, that you'll really have a completely new brand at the end of the day that has a completely new chance at gaining success with your target audience. Check out the teaser for my new clothing brand marketing course, the Clothing Brand Marketing System. You can check it out at clothingbrandmarketing.com and join the waitlist. I'm going to be teaching you every aspect of marketing your clothing brand, not just Instagram, but everything, including Facebook ads, how to build an audience on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and every aspect of marketing your clothing brand is going to be inside this course. It's coming out in April 2020. I'm super excited about it. So check out that teaser, join the waitlist if you're interested. Otherwise, if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have going on for apparel success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group. See you in the next one. Peace.